Just one more episode left until the new season of Setup Wars, but I promised you guys we're gonna end season 5 with a banger. So with that said, sit back and relax, cause you know what time it is. This video was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, the game that has taken over everyone's smartphone. What's new in Raid, you might ask? A brand new legendary champion from the High Elves faction, Deliana, who is one of the strongest support champions in the entire game. Why am I mentioning this, you might ask? Well, you can actually get her for free. It doesn't matter if you're new to the game or a returning player. But that is not all. For all the new players who download the game using my QR code listed on the screen, you get some extra goodies as well. Like 50 XP brews to instantly get your legendary hero Deliana to max level 50, as well as a ton of silver. You just have to put in the promo code MyDeliana in game. On top of that, Raid is launching their new and exciting Path of Light event, where you'll be able to explore 3 branching paths to get the rewards you want the most. This is really the best time to start playing Raid, you guys. In addition to the extra bonuses I mentioned earlier for new players, downloading the game using my link below or scanning the QR code on the screen will get you even more bonuses worth $30. All this treasure will be waiting for you here in the inbox once you log in the game. Kicking off the episode, we have a pretty baller triple monitor teen setup by Damien. He's a student who likes to watch anime and play games, so he made a mission to build himself his dream setup where he can do it all. This was actually an ongoing project that he started at the age of 13, which means he's been slowly upgrading the setup for the past 4 to 5 years, and it's still not done. Then again, no setup is really ever done, is it? We got triple monitors hooked up to the carbon countertop, each with its own purpose. The middle 75 Hz is for gaming, the left one is for watching YouTube videos, and the right one is for Discord and Spotify, or Twitch if he's streaming. For peripherals, we got the Razer Huntsman Elite keyboard with a Rocat Cone mouse and no real focus on cleaning up the wires. You kind of just left them going across the desk, which is fine if there were only 1 or 2 cables, but there are a total of 5 here. The least you can do is group them all up together with the mousepad cable and run it across the desk with a few cable clips. I'm surprised to see this because he did a good job with the cables underneath the desk. He used 2 long raceways to cover the cables with plenty of cable clips. Moving on to audio, the setup has both a soundbar up top for listening to music or watching videos and the Razer Nari headset when he's gaming with the boys. He's also got a dedicated mic setup which he hooked up to a nearby wall shelf, which was pretty genius. I do like how he decorated the setup though. He stuck to a really nice symmetrical layout with some wall shelves. He also got some greenery and RGB lighting. I'm not even against having the PC tucked away behind the monitor, not because it's a pre-built, but because it has a closed off side panel, so you can't really see the internals either way, so it worked out nicely. Other than a few unmanaged cables on the surface, I think this setup was pretty dope nonetheless. Thank you, Damien, for sharing this with us. Up next, we have a very dope... Oh Christ, here we go. Up next, we have another very dope triple monitor setup by Danny. He's an office admin located in London who likes to stream after work, so he wanted a space where he can call it his own. A space where he can escape from reality and enjoy gaming and entertaining his audience. The total setup evolution time is 6 years and still counting, but this is what we have so far. A triple TIE Fighter monitor layout, each separated by a single desk mount. Since the monitors are so close to each other, I would have made sure to cover the gaps between them so it just looks cleaner. This way you can also cover the cables in the back. I mean, you obviously care about cable management, otherwise you wouldn't have taken the effort to group up all the wires from your peripherals using a few cable clips. So I'm curious why you didn't take the extra effort here. For audio, the setup uses Razer Namos for the primary source, but for gaming and streaming, he does switch between the Krakens and the HyperX Clouds with a dedicated mic setup. I don't have any complaints with the cable management. Danny definitely has everything under control for the most part. I love seeing cables being routed behind the legs of the desk, but one thing I would have done differently was used white zip ties instead, so they blend in a lot better. It's a very small thing, but makes a noticeable difference. And then we got the PC powering it all. It's a custom build inside the Corsair iQ 465X RGB. It's packing a Ryzen 9 3900X and an EVGA RTX 2060 Super. You can definitely use some custom cables or even some cheap cable extensions from Amazon, but overall a very nice build and streaming setup you got here. Thank you, Danny, for sharing this with us. This next setup is definitely an interesting one as it has a layout I haven't seen before on the show. Dakota was able to fit 3 large monitors on the desk along with his PC. Unfortunately, he didn't show us how he was able to do this, but I'm pretty confident he has the PC sitting on a wall shelf with a few triangle brackets supporting it. I think this is a very clever approach for people wanting to keep their PC on the desk but don't have the extra space to do it. Dakota was not only able to keep all monitors comfortably on the desk, but he was also able to keep the PC right in the center of it all. This also makes cable management very convenient as the PC is within reach of all of his gear. Aside from the layout, I do love the presentation of the setup as well. We got dual 34-inch ultrawides in vertical mode with the Hyper Beast wallpaper mirrored on both of them with a Hyper Beast mousepad. I even love that he flipped the other ultrawide so the bezel is on the outside. Well done. Personally, I would have ditched the extra RGB mousepad and centered the larger mousepad in the middle, as I think that would have looked the cleanest, but to each his own. We have another pair of Razer Rommel speakers for the main source of audio and a few extra pairs of headphones that he swaps between for gaming and sound editing. Looks like we have a ring light and a DSLR combo on the left for streaming and a dedicated mic setup on the right with the Blue Yeti. The PC powering everything is a really nice custom build featuring the 9900K and an RTX 2060 from MSI. A very common mistake I always see on the show has to do with the fan configuration. Once again, there is no intake. All the fans are set to exhaust, which creates negative pressure. If you're watching this video, please flip the two fans on the radiator so they become intake. The setup definitely feels packed, but I wouldn't say it's cramped per se. I think there's a good amount of tidiness and organizing. However, it would have been better to ditch the smaller RGB mouse pad altogether and slide over the larger pad to gain more mouse space, but other than that small adjustment, I think this is a pretty badass setup nonetheless. Thank you, Dakota, for sharing this with us. Up next is a very nice change of pace from the usual IKEA setups. And while I have to agree with most of you guys in the comment section getting tired of seeing IKEA furniture, you have to understand that this is the bread and butter of most setups due to their cheap prices, wide selections, and availability in most countries. Not everyone can build custom desks or has the money and time to do something fancy, so please understand that. Rommel, on the other hand, was lucky enough to score this beautiful office desk from the Facebook Marketplace, but if you look closely, you can see that the original finish was wood. He decided to skin the desk in white using vinyl that he picked up from Amazon, and it completely transformed the look of it. Personally, I would have committed a little more and skinned the rest of the desk if you really want to sell the look and make it more convincing. The setup was built in just 1 month for the purpose of doing homework, a little bit of coding, media consumption, and gaming. He games on the 1080p monitor while he uses the 1440p for all other tasks, including coding, homework, and streaming. For peripherals, he kept everything simple and wireless with the An Pro 2 and the G305. And moving on to audio, we do have a pair of Harman Kardon speakers for the primary source and 2 headsets that he switches between for certain tasks. The Turtle Beach Recon 200s for gaming and the Sony MDRs for everything else. I would also get rid of the desk lamp and pick up a nice monitor light bar instead to free up some extra space on the desk. I did feature one in a previous Cool Tech video, which I'll link below for anyone interested. I think it was very clever adding a custom built shelf off to the side to expand your tabletop for your PC, but I would have gone with something more sturdier and thicker instead of using a thin piece of wood. Keep in mind that you need something thick enough for the screws to penetrate it deep. Although it wasn't exactly executed perfectly, I do love seeing you skin the desk and extending the tabletop. I'm pretty confident that this has given a lot of us some cool ideas to improve our very own setups at home. Thank you, Rommel, for sharing this with us. And wrapping up the episode is a stunning setup from Stefano Di Costa, who is a musician from Italy. It took him about 2 years to complete for the purpose of music production and casual gaming. The presentation alone is out of this world. We got a custom built desk with custom shelves for the speakers and a giant custom wall with some hexagon panels, which ties in everything so beautifully. Now, if you look at the setup from the front, it looks like the monitor is mounted against the wall, but it's actually hooked up to the desk using a mount. It's all about the clever placement of the Colo light panels. I also love how he spaced out the speakers by putting them on separate shelves. This opens up so much more space for other things like his Corsair K55 keyboard and the MX Master 2S. He's also using an Audient audio interface, all with very clean cable work through the desk and towards the back. The PC powering the main setup is propped on a pretty cool lit nightstand, and it's packing the Intel 10700K with a Gigabyte Vision 3070 Ti. All the parts in there have been selected to perfectly complement each other in the build and the entire setup as well. So moving on to the other side is where you will find the productivity and entertainment area. We got a small desk for his laptop and tablet, but what caught my attention was the dedicated overhead monitor that displays all of his PC hardware information. It kind of defeats the purpose of having it all the way on the side, but I guess it's still a pretty cool concept. On the left of that is the console gaming setup with both an Xbox Series X and a PS5 that's hooked up to a 55-inch 4K TV. I really like this guy's taste and design. We got lit up wall shelves holding up his Funko Pop collections, a bit of greenery spaced out, and really great lighting. Everything is done very well. You can tell he put his heart and soul in every inch of this space. This is one perfectly executed gaming studio, and it is without a doubt worthy of a seal of approval. So with that said, Stefano, congrats on taking home the 47th seal of approval. Make sure to hit me up on Discord or send an email to setupwarsprizes@gmail.com to claim your one-of-a-kind plaque. Exceptional work, my friend. But with that said, let me know what you guys think about these setups in the comment section down below. Unfortunately, Season 5 is officially over. If you guys are excited for Season 6, do let me know by smacking that like button. And I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.